Hi there, Steve McGee back in Parliament after a bit of a recess during April, our first week back for the autumn session, right through to the end of June. Been another busy week. Legislation this week was commercial tax, which I spoke on today, Thursday, and I spoke on the National Energy Retailer legislation on Tuesday, I believe it was. Also made a member statement on Tuesday, I think it was, about our three wonderful students, two out of Kurrajong Secondary and one out of Melton Secondary, who were all provided $20,000 scholarships from the Harding Miller Foundation, which is fantastic. And these three young women are leading the way. Have a look at the speech, the member statement around that, and it's just a fantastic achievement for Melton, and in particular for these three young women in the future of their education. So that was great. In my speeches today, I did want to make reference to a couple of events that happened this week. Yesterday, the 1st of May being May Day, a very important day in regard to workers' rights, 8-hour day, 8-hour pay, 8 hours rest, making sure that employees get paid their rightful entitlements, and as I say, as part of their work, making sure that it's appropriate conditions, wages and conditions with people. But the other event earlier in the week on Monday, and thanks to Victorian Trades Hall, was International Workers Memorial Day, where we've had 55 people killed or died at work in the last 12 months and contributed to from their work, and many thousands injured. And Trades Hall in Argyle Gardens at Carlton on Monday ran a memorial service attended by many hundreds of people, and some family members of people that had died at work. So just a shout out to Trades Hall and everyone that attended in memory of all those workers that have died over the last 12 months and the ones that have died in previous years. And it's tragic. Everyone should go to work and be able to come home safely. And I know unions are continuing those battles to make sure that workplaces are safe. So thanks to Trades Hall. Had many people come in and visit this week. Kaneza, our secondary school student, who did some work experience at the Ambulance Union, Victorian Ambulance Union, and I thank them for that and allowing her to gain some experience involved in industrial relations and seeing what unionism's all about, being involved in some Fair Work Commission cases. So great experience for a fantastic young woman, and she came into Parliament the other day to see the hustle and bustle of how Parliament works. She sat in question time, and hopefully she enjoyed it. Couple of other events or groups that we met up with this week. The Victorian African Community Committee, again, a cross section of just wonderful people from the African communities, representatives, and talking with many of the politicians came into the meeting with them to tell us what they do and what they would like to see happen and all those sorts of things. So it's a great working relationship, and it's about improving things for the African community, but the community in general in regard to, the African community not being discriminated against in the first place and making better opportunities and things like that, engaging with the youth and how we can do that. So great representatives, great leaders, fantastic, and we'll continue to do a lot of good work with that committee as we do with other multicultural committees. So it was just fantastic to meet up with them yesterday, Wednesday, afternoon in the side dining room up here in Parliament. We also had a presentation yesterday morning, a breakfast with the Young Stroke Survivors organisation out of the Florey Institute. Incredible research and work that they do in regard to people suffering strokes, and not just young people, but people that are suffering strokes, but primarily looking at research to try and prevent strokes and things like that. But then, if people have had strokes, assisting them with their rehab services, support, NDIS, whatever it may be. Amazing work that they do, and we'll continue to support the Young Stroke Services out of the Florey. And again, it's about trying to prevent these types of incidents, stroke incidents, and again, using their research to do that. And then, of course, unfortunately, if a person has a stroke, again, using their support services and again, their expertise in regard to helping people that have got strokes. And there is a sign on the wall about stroke and the signs and symptoms of stroke. So if anyone has a friend or a relative or a bystander, you just remember the four things that you need to take into account of whether you think someone may have had a stroke. And that is that you look at their face to see whether there's a drooping of the face or a dropping of the face, whether they can lift their arms, whether their speech has changed, whether it's slurred speech or something like that. And of course, time is critical. So ringing the ambulance service, 000, if you have any doubts about someone, whether they're having a stroke. And it could be someone that's suffering a severe headache or something like that has some of these signs and symptoms. So you ring 000. That's why it's called the fast stroke recognition program, and that's all you have to remember. Face, arms, speech, time. That's what it stands for. Anyway, Young Stroke were in here. That's one of their booklets. It's fantastic. Have a look at them online if you need to. Great research. And if people out there need any support, if they've had a relative or a friend suffer from a stroke, don't be afraid to make contact with the Florey. Do amazing work. And I met with the Victorian caravan industry land lease type of arrangement today, having a discussion around caravan parks, but also land lease being facilities like, and I'll call it like the lifestyle villages and stuff like that. Terrific conversation. I went out to a lifestyle village out at Aintree only a few weeks ago. Amazing facilities. So we're going to continue our discussions, going to have the relevant ministers meet up with them. They'll send me through some more information in the short video. And hopefully we can work through some of the issues that might, under these circumstances of these lifestyle type villages and caravan parks, that it might also deliver another arm to our housing issue and deal with some of the housing crisis. But again, it's only one aspect of that, but it has a lot of potential. So a lot of work to be done in that space. So on that basis, I think that's enough for now. I'll see you back in Melton tomorrow. And then in Melton next